players such as history has showed us, there have been many good players that weren't even drafted in the first place. Through players such as Patrick Beverley, Seth Curry, and even Alex Caruso not being one of the 60 selected, they still proved to be a viable piece for any team's roster. In this draft, I believe there are 3 types of these players that most likely won't be selected, but they will still have a good NBA career. So let's take a look at the first player in Markus Howard. Now with Howard, I just want to address this quickly. Signing him to a training camp deal won't be due to high potential or anything like that. Combine the fact that Howard spent 4 years in college and is already 21 years old, he doesn't have much upside. However, with this being said, this dude is one of, if not the best scorer in this year's draft. Howard for the season averaged 27.8 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 3.3 assists on 42.2% shooting from the field and 41.2% from 3 on a ridiculous 10 attempts per game. One of Howard's biggest strengths coming into the league will be that he can create his own shot at a pretty elite level. Whether it be Howard using a step back to create his jumper, a hesitation dribble to create space, or even reading the defense off a pick and roll, he has a very good offensive feel to the game. Like, the dude got 3 50-point games and has scored more than 35 points in 6 games alone this past season. But probably one of the biggest things that will help Markus to stay in the league is his 3-point shooting. At 41.2%, that's already pretty good, but it's actually a little deceptive. In his junior and senior year, he was asked to carry a load a little bit more for the Golden Eagles. So because of that, he wasn't able to get those standstill open threes to the extent that he did before. But when he was used in that spot up shooter type role, Howard was able to shoot 54.7% from 3. This was on around 5 attempts a game as well, not 1 or 2 attempts. Even though he has elite ability on the offensive end, there's a reason why so many boards either have him going late in the second round or undrafted. To keep it simple, he has a couple of big weaknesses. Finishing around the rim, he's not that athletic, he can take some wild shots at times, and his defending. In terms of the bad shot selection and the turnovers, I can see these going away in the NBA because of how NBA teams won't be asking Howard to carry or load their team. So in all honesty, the main element holding back Howard is his lack of height. Howard being 5'11 already is a disadvantage. Him being not that athletic doesn't help the case either. When driving to the rim, he probably doesn't finish too well due to the massive height differential he faces when going into the paint. His height can also play a role into why he's a really bad defender. Now, part of it would be due to the lateral quickness, but at some point, guards, especially in this day and age, would be able to just shoot over him without much hesitation at times either. Many small guards such as Isaiah Thomas have been able to craft a place in this league, but there have also been many guards who just can't deal with the leap in talent and the height difference, such as a Tyler Ulis and even a Cameron Payne, who bounced around the league with multiple teams before seemingly finding his role with the Suns. In my opinion, with Howard, the absolute best you'd hope to see from him is sort of like a Devontae Graham type of player, but the more realistic comparison would ironically be a Cameron Payne type of player who, with the Suns, played an important role off the bench for them. The second player that is verging on being undrafted that can be really good in the future is Malcom Cazalon. Now, Malcom is definitely going to be a project for any team that decides to sign him if he goes undrafted. But the potential that he showed with Mega Bamax of the Serbian Basketball League and the French national youth team shouldn't go unnoticed. The main appeal with Malcom's game is that at worst, with Malcom you can get an athletic 3-and-D shooter. Malcom can prove to be much more, but this is the more realistic viewpoint I have with him. Malcom already has a pretty good height and wingspan at 6'6" and a 6'10" wingspan. But as you can tell in the tapes, Malcom is going to need to add some muscle to his frame. But considering how he's only literally 18 years old, this shouldn't even be that much of a concern. A year or two in the G League with a good development staff could easily turn this problem around. But the one thing that I love to say is that you can teach someone to play better defense. You can teach someone to shoot the ball better. But you cannot teach somebody athleticism, and Malcom has plenty of it. Malcom loves to be able to use his athleticism to drive in, and as Malcom developed his shot more because he has a pretty nice looking form, it'll make it all the more easier for him. I don't see many people talking about him, so just keep an eye on him. I wouldn't be surprised if a savvy team like the Spurs tried to pick him up. I'd want to compare his potential to like a Derrick Jones Jr. or an improved Terrence Ferguson type player who provides good minutes to his team. The third player that can go undrafted that can provide a team with vital production is Robert Woodard II. Now, Robert is honestly a complete mystery for me. I've seen draft boards have him going late first, mid second, and undrafted. I truly don't know what's going to happen with him and where he's going to go, but I'm under the assumption that Robert might go undrafted. If he does, he's going to make 29 teams upset. With this game, I'm going to keep it really simple. Being 6'7", he's most likely going to be playing the 3 position at the next level, but he might be able to get away with playing at the 4 due to the frame that he has. After not having much of an impact in his freshman season, Robert returned and made some serious improvement to his game, most notably his shooting. After shooting 27% from 3 in his first season, he shot 42% this time around. Now, Robert is going to need to shoot more 3s before he can be considered as a legitimate shooter, but there is promise here. Now, there is some questions with can he handle the ball, and he will also be a 21-year-old rookie, so there isn't going to be much upside when you think about it. But I'd like to compare a player like Woodard and the way that he plays. You can sort of see a player like Jay Crowder. Shoots 3s, can be physical at times, and can defend. And every team would love to have a player like this. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time, peace.